All right. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to our 13th Equity Learning Lab. My name is Ugo Kasani. I'm the Equity Officer with the Bureau of Community Engagement, Racial Equity, and Strategic Initiatives. And I'm happy to be here with our special guest today, Mr. David A. Norton, Sr. A little bit of background, Mr. Norton. He's the President and CEO of the Houston Housing Authority, HHA, one of the largest housing authorities, serving more than 60,000 low-income Houstonians, with 200 plus full-time employees and more than 100 private management staff. HHA's annual budget is about $300 million, with an inventory that includes a federally funded portfolio of 24,000 units and 22,000 non-federal units. A demonstrated leader in the affordable housing sector, he is the immediate past president of the Public Housing Authorities Directors Association, an organization of 1,900 member housing agencies representing more than 1.9 million low-income housing units throughout the United States. Mr. Norton has proven experience as a proactive leader in federal housing assistance programs, including urban planning and policy development. In 2019, he was appointed by Governor J.B. Pritzker to the Illinois State Housing Task Force and was elected to the Illinois Housing Council Board of Directors. Mr. Norton, I welcome you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate those kind words. Seemed like I did a lot, but I got a lot more work to do. So again, thank you guys for this opportunity to try to hear me out. I think how it's going to go today, we're going to go through a brief slideshow. I'm going to tell you a few things about the Houston Housing Authority and some initiatives that we have here. And then after that, I'm going to mention a couple of other initiatives that I had when I worked in Illinois. And then we'll set it up for some question and answers. Just a little more history. I've been a CEO of 5 different housing authorities. Well, 4 different housing authorities, one twice. I worked in Illinois for about 17, almost 20 years in Lake County, Illinois, and Champaign County, Illinois. And I'm born and raised in Gary, Indiana. So I started right out of college working at the East Chicago Housing Community Development Organization. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and jump into the PowerPoint. I have Ria's here with the Housing Authority, that's part of our team, helping me go through this PowerPoint. So again, thank you guys for allowing me to take a few minutes to explain some of what we do here in Houston and explain, just a little bit about the Housing Authority overall in general. So our story is one that's great. As mentioned before, we serve a tremendous amount of Houstonians. In some cases, we're larger than some small cities throughout this nation. Housing is one of the bedrocks of every community, and it's something that's really needed. So I'm going to show a little short video that you guys can see one of our major initiatives.
Houston is a vibrant city filled with diversity and rooted in a deep history of progress and innovation. The Houston Housing Authority is an essential part of one of the most significant aspects of equity, creating and sustaining affordable housing for our city's most vulnerable families.
My name is Sebastian Osueke. I got into the housing program because I was laid off from my job. I was a college professor. When I was affected, I was the only person in the family working. I exhausted my 401k. I was using it to pay my rent. My wife was pregnant also at that point. I was behind in paying my rent. I was evicted. We were about to become homeless. We called a lot of the shelter places here. So we had no place to go. So we were literally homeless if it hadn't been the Houston Housing Authority that gave us the opportunity to live in one of their properties.
Our clients and low-income families who need our services are the foundation of our agency's purpose.
Building on our 85-year-long established legacy of leadership in the affordable housing industry, the pursuit of affordable housing is not merely a goal for us, it is a fervent commitment to the very fabric of our communities.
Our impact is substantial, our outreach is wide, and our mission is purposeful: to improve lives by providing quality, affordable housing options and promoting education and economic self-sufficiency. We're a federally funded agency through the Department of Housing and Urban Development that works with local, county, state, and federal government leaders to provide affordable housing throughout Houston. Currently, the Houston Housing Authority provides affordable homes and services to more than 60,000 low-income Houstonians, including more than 19,000 families in the Housing Choice Voucher Program and 5,212 living in 24 public housing and tax credit developments. The agency does more than provide safe, affordable homes. We also offer programs to help public housing residents and voucher holders find employment and autonomy through Jobs Plus and our home ownership program, giving our clients resources, financial aid, direction, and a path forward to building their futures for generations to come.
To qualify for this program, you have to be sent back to school, literally. You have to get a certificate in literacy education. You have to get certified in credit. You have to learn how to maintain good credit. You also have to learn how to own a home. One thing is to own a home, the other one is to maintain it. Their partnership helped me to secure the loans that I needed. As soon as we got this place, my children were excited that finally they have a permanent address. Now we have a stable home, we have a stable family, we have a routine. I have a kid that goes to high school. It's now easier for him. He's now proud, he's happy. And I have other ones that are in college. And now they bring their friends home. To own a home is American dream. We have been chasing this American dream until now. Thanks be to God.
Houston ranks among the fastest growing cities in the U.S., creating a high demand for housing. The population growth presents both challenges and opportunities for the development of affordable housing to meet the needs of people like teachers, delivery drivers, service industry workers, and more. HHA's commitment to reducing homelessness through strategic action plans and partnerships with community organizations has made a lasting and recognizable impact in creating sustainable, affordable housing options. Delegations from around the world have come to visit Houston to see our work in action and model their affordable housing structures based on our agency's approach and methods.
Our journey in the realm of affordable housing has been marked by both triumphs and challenges. In the face of rising obstacles, we stand firm, fueled by the belief that everyone deserves a safe and dignified place to call home. In the spirit of progress, we are embracing new ideas and innovations that will redefine how we approach affordable housing and remain in the forefront of innovation. Community and government support is essential to our ongoing efforts. Our agency is prioritizing transparency and engaging our officials and community members in our collective work. Together we can combat opposition from those who push back against progress in helping low-income Houstonians and meeting the need for affordable housing within our city.
Partnerships with government leaders, community members, and developers are essential to our operation. We couldn't make such a tremendous impact on the lives of low-income families without the financial collaboration of developers. The reconstruction of our 2100 Memorial Senior Living property is a prime example of that. When Hurricane Harvey destroyed this property, HHA partnered with Columbia Residential, committing to rebuild it so our clients could return to their homes settled on the north side of downtown near the bayou. As construction nears completion, the long-awaited initiative will welcome 197 modernized, affordable units and amenities for our senior clients.
Our commitment to affordable housing extends beyond brick and mortar. It encompasses a vision for sustainable communities where individuals and families thrive. We're not only building homes, we're constructing a future where people, regardless of their circumstances, have the chance to build a better life.
As we navigate the opportunities ahead, the HHA will be guided by our shared vision and belief that through innovation, determination, and collaboration, we can continue to diligently pursue equity through affordable housing.
Apologize for that. That video kind of just highlighted one of our major projects and some of what we're trying to do. As mentioned earlier, we have about 60,000 to 80,000 Estonians if we count our non-federal programs that we operate also. And housing throughout the country is something that's a major. In that video, you also saw Chicago's mayor who was down here visiting. We had a great conversation around affordable housing, around some of the initiatives using Move to Work program, which Chicago Housing Authority has also, Houston Housing Authority has, and just how to deal with the homeless situation. Houston has been marked and known for one of the major cities that has eliminated a large amount of its homelessness, but it's a long way to go. And you can look at a couple recent headlines, throughout the country, through some of the local newspapers that talked about the need for affordable housing. Looking at affordable housing throughout the country, in Chicago and in that region, over the border in some of the suburbs up in Lake County, there's tremendous need. I know for certain, just recently, hey Riz, did you move it on? So I know for certain, just recently the Housing Authority opened its wait list, and we had just in 30 days, probably the first 10 days it was open, we had close to 19,000 people sign up. Our board decided to leave it open for I think 30 days, and we had over 40-some thousand people that came apart. So these headlines kind of show that tremendous need. And we talk about also looking at the statistics and data throughout the country. As you can see in this slide, Estonians, renters, we have a tremendous amount of renters, close to 4 million renters. If you talk about AMI and the various levels, and the fair market rent in Houston for a 1-bedroom, it's like $1,000 a month. And I know in Chicago and the Midwest, it may be a little different, depending on what part of the area you live on. But with Houston being the 4th largest city, and it's constantly growing, thousands of people move here constantly, thousands of people visiting Houston constantly. We have to provide that level of affordable housing. So let's talk about some of the innovations and the grants that we've created here in Houston in order to help our community grow even better. One is the mobility grant. And what's unique about this grant is a $5 million grant, and it helps people move along the spectrum of self-sufficiency, coming from maybe non-opportunity areas to opportunity areas. And with this $5 million, we provide education, we provide financial support. And the financial support is in ways of relocation. So we actually pay for individuals to move, pay their movement expenses, or pay their down payment assistance. Not down payment assistance, but pay for their down payment for new housing in opportunity areas. So that's a great program. But what's even greater about that program, it was created in the Chicago area. Cook County Housing Authority, Chicago Housing Authority, and Lake County Housing Authority, when I was there, HUD had a demonstration about mobility, and our regional housing program came together and was a part of that demonstration and was highly successful. We had the opportunity to speak at the HUD office in DC, travel around the world and talk about the success of our programs. And as a result, HUD came out with the housing mobility program. And so, that's something that shows how coming together in collaborations, you can make a big difference. Another grant that we're receiving, we're working on, is the older adult home modification program. Now, some people may be familiar with home funds or CDBG. This is similar to that type of program, but the Housing Authority is working with seniors in order to keep them in their units, to make it safe, modify their units to the best of their abilities. Now, what we're going to do is partner with the city's home program that also provides loans to help our low-income seniors that really have needs. So if the city's giving them $10,000, we have that ability to give them another $25,000 to $5,000. So that money go a lot further in order to provide the necessary updates they may need. That's not our core mission, but the mission of creating safe, decent, and sanitary housing is one of our cores. And so this program fits in line with what we want to do overall in our various communities. Housing with individuals with AIDS, we know it's a major pandemic. In Houston, it's a big issue, and I believe Chicago has a major issue also. And so we're working with our partners locally in order to provide housing. When we talk about homelessness and we talk about individuals with disabilities or certain issues, housing is the bedrock. I totally know and feel that individuals that don't have that ability to have that roof and safe environment, it's hard to learn, it's hard to be established in terms of going to work. And when you're dealing with illnesses as such, you really need that structure, that firm place to call home and to help overcome some of those obstacles you may have. Next, we have the Energy and Safety and Security Grant. We're just like Chicago, and I'm saying that because I'm from Gary, Indiana originally. I know it's a lot going on in terms of crime and safety, and so anything that we can do, not just to eliminate crime and the drug activity, but also to make major repairs. Carbon monoxide is something that's very dangerous. A lot of people have situations where they may not have heat, and so they use ovens and they use other methods. I remember growing up, even we were very poor. We didn't have a dryer, and so we used to use our oven to help dry clothes and things like that. So providing these type of additional resources to the clients that we serve or the general public is very important in terms of providing safe environments and educating people around that. And so this is what that money allows us to do. And also with the climate, the health project. So we're working to really, mental health and other issues. And we know that especially when we talk about homelessness, there's a number of units or programs individuals can be a part of. But when we're talking about homelessness, when we're talking about disaster type events, as we mentioned about Harvey, sometimes that mental illness component may not allow individuals to get the help that's necessary. Some people don't want to be a part of programs. They don't want to have to provide the information necessary or take the courses that's necessary to be successful in that. But this money kind of helps in all those areas. So it spans around a number of rings in order to bring people together in a safe environment and create that level of safety. So when we talk about innovations and grants related to community revitalization, there's a number of major ones out there. You guys may be aware of this one. I'm not sure if Chicago had one. I know back in the day, this grant now, the Choice Neighborhood, is one of it was birthed out of Hope 6. So I know Chicago had a number of Hope 6. We had one over in Gary also. And so with this program, we go not into a public housing community alone, we go into the whole community, and it's a major investment. We received a planning grant from HUD back in 2019. So we submit that plan, and a draft plan, and then a finalized plan. And just recently in December 2023, we submitted our final application. If awarded, we'll know later on early summer, but we'll get a $50 million grant from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. But that's just a piece of it. So it's a lot of leveraging and private funds that come together. Overall, this project would be over $610 million. So in CUNY Homes, the area that George Floyd was raised at, he went to high school just at Yates High School, played basketball and football right there, right next to CUNY Homes. And CUNY Homes is also right across the street from Texas Southern and right down the street from the University of Houston. So that's a major area in the third ward community. We have 551 units over there in CUNY Homes. And part of this grant, we got to bring back double. So we bring it back over 1,100 something units. Some of those, and many of them will be home ownership units. And it won't be a concentration. It'll be spread out throughout that community. We have a 2-mile radius map that we utilize. We bought a number of properties, and it's a number of partnerships where we're bringing commercial. We just met with a bank that's coming in. It's an 8-year program, so it's different phases. But I'm so excited about the opportunity to bring that to the community. And you talk about later on, I mentioned make some comments about economic impact. When people look at affordable housing, they look at the poor, they look at most vulnerable, seniors, people with disabilities. And in most cases, that NIMBY, not in my backyard stuff to count. But I always like, as a leader, to take the approach and kind of show that $300 million, it brings economic impact to the community. This type of project or other development projects. And it's just not the money that's spent and turned over and over within the communities. It's the people that can work, to be educated, to have opportunities, especially when we talk about Section 3 minority-owned businesses. The individuals in some of those communities can see people that look like them working, which makes them more invested within that community. And so that's one of the major goals of this initiative. Now, pathways related to pro-housing, picture that you see there is the 2100 Memorial Project. you kind of heard about that. This award is about $9 million. It's just to really help provide resources when we talk about infrastructure. A number of lack of neighborhood and amenities like walking trails and things like that to deal with hazards. So the approach that we have here in Houston is really, if it's funds out there that impact our community, let's go after it. Let's partner, do collaborations to see how we can make it work, how we can make it stretch for the betterment of our citizens. We don't really look at it as, I don't call the people who serve residents, I really call them clients. And that mindset comes from having a business mindset, but also knowing, just for an example, if you got a serial killer, they got an attorney. The attorney don't care about what the serial killer did. Well, they may, but they're still gonna give them the best defense possible. And so I kind of train my team members to say, hey, regardless of how somebody look, the amount of income they have, how they may smell, if they have a disability, if they come through our doors, they're our clients, and it's our job to serve them in the best way possible. And at the end of the day, we get paid to do that. And so just coming up with all these different types of initiatives to eliminate barriers. Houston don't have any zoning laws, so you can see anything going up anywhere here in Houston. But we're making a lot of making a lot of advancements to eliminate some of the issues and challenges that we may have in the city. And this is one of those grants that helped us do that. And innovation, we talked about grants and then we talked about workforce development. And this is something that's near and dear to my heart, Youth Build. Before I go into this Youth Build grant that we're applying for and we'll receive here in Houston, I want to talk about, I was the president and CEO of the Lake County Housing Authority for a number of years. We had a Youth Build program there. It wasn't the housing authorities, it was a partner, a not-for-profit that the housing authority worked with. Very successful program. We would take the chance, and it's about leadership. So I said, look, when individuals graduate from Youth Build, I'll provide an internship program so they can come work with my staff. They can help build their resumes. And so Youth Build is where they take troubled youth, 16 to 24. A lot of them didn't have degrees. That program allowed them to have get a diploma in high school or a GED. So they would come work at the housing authority, and we paid them a stipend. 25% of that stipend, I made them put it in an escrow. So when they finish that internship program, if they didn't get hired with us, they have some money. And it counts as a forced saving account so they can do some things that they may want to do, or just to show them the importance of saving and how that may work. So we're applying for that same grant here in Houston. And in Champaign County, we had that grant. When I went there, I applied, we was able to receive it, and we used it much better. All the construction that we did in Champaign County, in terms of affordable housing developer and not just a housing authority, Youth Build is a pre-apprenticeship program from the Department of Labor. And so the kids we serve had guaranteed jobs. My RFPs that we put together dictated that a percentage, based on a percentage of the funds, so many Youth Build participants had to have job opportunities on that property. We also had Youth Build because we were a move to work housing authority, which gives us local and different flexibilities. The same thing as Chicago, we provided a voucher. So if our kids came through the program and graduated, we gave them a house of choice voucher so they can be stabilized. We all can get education, but if we back to couch surfing, if we back on the streets, if we don't have a stable place to call home, that's for naught in a lot of cases. So these kids need a great opportunity to be successful. It was so successful in Champaign that the DA and the prosecutors and the judges, if kids was in trouble, if they decided to come to Youth Build and was accepted in the program, they would give them probation. They wouldn't put them in jail and things like that. So it was really impactful in terms of some of the things we were able to do related to the Youth Build program. And that's the same thing I want to bring here. So this would be the fourth housing authority I worked with a Youth Build program. I brought it to Birmingham, brought it to Champaign. We had it in Lake County. We helped design it. Now it's coming here in Houston. So a few other initiatives that we have here, some programs that really, focus on housing, but also some of the wraparound services. As I mentioned, we had a tremendous amount of units that's not federal. In the state of Texas, we have a program, a law under the legislation. They created a law, and under that section is called PFC, which is Public Facility Corporation. And so through that program, it's a public-private partnerships. The housing authority puts no money in the deal. A private developer partners with the housing authority, and the partnership with either 51% or 49% owners in this deal We receive cash flow shares, admin fee, a share of closing costs. It's a tax exemption, so we get some of the tax, we call it pilot. So the money that the development save on taxes, the housing authority get it. Now, all that funding that we receive, which, you know, is hundreds of millions of dollars, because we have 70 developments that's already closed. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and we have up to 106 that's in a process, right? That's been ready to be closed. Since I've been here, we've done probably 50 of them. So it's a fast pace, but this is the fastest and the most efficient tool I've ever seen in my 28 year housing career that create affordable housing and in opportunity areas. And so we get a lot of NIMBY and drawback because the certain communities that don't want affordable housing can't control what we do. We don't need approval to do it. If it's a developer in there and we decide to partner and buy a building, 51% of the building or 50% of the building becomes affordable. Now we don't go in and kick people out that may not, meet that 60, 80, or 30% AMI. But what we will do is give that partnership a year in order to, natural attrition to get people in. But many of those people that's living there is already cost burden. So that means their rent goes down and they're able to, live more efficiently and pay their bills in a better way. We created this website. You should take a look at it if you get opportunity. Affordable Housing Houston, where people can go in there and put their information to tell them where what their AMI is. They can locate developments throughout the city and the ETJ, the extra territorial jurisdiction of the housing authority out in county areas, where they can find. It's an integrated map also, where you can say, hey, I want to live here and this is where I work. It'll show you how long it takes to get there, talk about the school districts and everything like that. So we're really trying to be innovative and show. Our waiting list closed right now. I just sent a letter to the mayor and city council members, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, that said that our budget authority, meaning for the voucher program, we cannot give any more vouchers out. We have no more money left for vouchers. And that may be all year. Now, we did apply for some special funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, but if we don't get it, no more vouchers. Now, we still can serve people that's here. I mean, it's on our voucher program now, but we can give no more out. And last year, the whole year of 2023, the only vouchers we gave out was for special need vouchers, FASH, homeless, and stuff like that. No vouchers off our program. That shows the need for affordable housing. But it's not just here in Houston, it's throughout the country. But this is one of the ways through creative and collaborative partnerships that we resolve some of those issues. And these individuals that can have the ability to live in these units, they don't have to be on our wait list. So that's open to every citizen. And as I said before, we have to be bigger and better and not just focus on our clients in particular, but a whole community collaboration in terms of the needs. A lot of people need affordable housing. A training center coming into Houston Housing Authority. It was right during the COVID pandemic. A lot of the staff didn't want to come back to work. A lot of individuals that was hired during that time frame wasn't trained. So I partnered with a major housing trainer consultant called Nam McCann Associates that I worked with for a number of years. And we created a training center in Houston. I wanted to cross-train and train my people to be educated and provide them the right level of tools necessary to provide the service to our clients. And it cost me $2,000, $3,000 to send somebody to Florida to be trained and certified. It cost me a lot less to bring a trainer here to train a whole 30 people. But not only are we doing that in terms of training our team members here at the Housing Authority, we open it up to the general public, and we make quite a bit of money from other housing authorities. And Houston is a desirable place to go. People like to come to Houston, turkey leg hut, all that kind of stuff. Everybody want to come here and eat. I get tired of people coming, especially from the Midwest. Everybody want to go eat and hang out. It's not my vacation. I live here, so but I can appreciate that. Come spend your money. But this training center, the attraction of people want to come to Houston and having that opportunity to be trained constantly. A lot of times, trainers every quarter or so. We have trainers weekly and monthly. Different skill sets that's needed for certifications in housing. And we also train some of our clients also, so they can have opportunities to work at the housing authority or work in some certain situations throughout. One of the things we did when I was in Champaign County Housing Authority, we trained our clients in being inspectors. In housing authorities, if we have a partnership the housing authority had to have a third party inspector, like when you're doing low-income housing tax credits and things like that. And so we trained staff, we trained our clients, had them certified. We worked with the Small Business Association, had them set up as businesses, and they did our inspections for us. So they made money, we helped improve income. And now one of the young ladies that started it, I can't think of the name of her company, but she's doing inspections at a lot of other places, making a tremendous amount of money, providing job opportunities to some of those youth build kids and other clients that we have. And so it's ways to utilize that normal training and the needs of the housing authority. If you educate people the right way, they can figure out a way to sustain their life and become self-sufficient in that same way. So that training center, was a great idea we came up with. They just opened one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but if you guys want to get trained, come to Houston, don't worry about going to Fort Wayne. And the flock security systems, everywhere you go, and you may be familiar with this, but everywhere you go, you have crime activities, things going on. And so the flock system was placed in all our properties. And not only did it hit the streets of our properties, it hit the main street. We had it, we put this flock system in the summer of 2023, and we had 1,700 something hits. From that time, I think it was the November board meeting that we reported that out. Stolen cars, missing persons, it was prostitution, it was individuals that sex offenders, right? So we resolved, and more of a deterrent. We announced that, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what's going on, so we keep people from our properties. Everybody know that, just like Target, as a store and a supermarket, they look at the demographics of a community to decide if they're gonna put the store, how many people are gonna come visit. Well, in public housing, it's the same way. The drug dealers, the pimps that's looking for prostitutes or whatever, or the predators that's looking for young kids or gangs or whatever, they look at the property. I have 500 units in one spot. I can just go set up shop right there and get everything I need. If you're from Chicago or Gary or most places where you have large public housing sites, you've heard of it or seen it occur. There's something that happens every day. So this is one of those systems that we have, and it connects to the state system. It's a lot of states connect together. Like, when I was in Alabama, we did it. Georgia, Alabama, Florida, all those states connected together. So you can track vehicles from everywhere. If somebody shoots somebody in a car, you get the flock camera read the plate. You can find out wherever that car went, wherever it stopped at, where it go, and you can track it down. So that's the benefit of those deterrents. And the goal is not to arrest people. The goal is to stop them from committing those crimes, especially on the properties that we oversee. Then we talk about the health of individuals. We have a tremendous amount of people in and out of our properties. And we have a tremendous amount of people in and out of our offices. But again, some of the initiatives that we want to be responsible. So we, brought in the defibrillators, the AEDs, to the housing authority, put them in various locations throughout, training for all our staff members and get certified, quarterly or twice a year in order to provide that level of safety. Before we had decided to put this in, and this is another project I did in Birmingham first when I was there at the housing authority, but before we decided to put it in, we had one of the seniors passed away in our lobby and died. If we would have had a defibrillator, she may would have had an opportunity. By the time the ambulance got here, she had already succumbed of what was going on. But also the compression devices that we provided. So just thinking, about the clientele that we have, our team members that work here, and just being, proactive, about their needs and their health and their safety. So this is another project, and it was so unique when the press release went out. We had close to over 2 million. I may not be correct on that number. At least it was 2 million, and it was places all over the world. Housing authorities from all over the country have been reaching out saying, "How did you guys do it? How did you pay for it?" It's just one of those major initiatives that shows the respect and the care that we have for our clients, our team members, and any individuals coming in our facilities. And so before we start the video, Riz, I just want to mention, so if you don't know, Houston probably is one of the hottest cities in the country, right? Working in the Midwest, we installed AC units, both when I was in Indiana and in Illinois. And you know, we hot, really hot in that area, maybe 3.5, maybe 4 months a year, right? And so most of the time it's winter for us and fall. But I get here to Houston and they don't have AC in our traditional public housing properties that's 80 years old. We have seniors, people with disabilities, you know, young people, people trying to get ready for work, no AC. Me coming to Houston, and it's funny, but I couldn't even put my shirt and tie on until I got to work. It was so hot. I put a t-shirt on, cut my AC all the way up in the car, get to work, then finish getting dressed. That's how hot it is here in Houston for me. And I know it's some people may get used to it, but there's no way. So when I found out that we didn't have AC in over 1,600 of our units, I was, you know, dumbfounded. And I talked to the team and said, hey, tell me why. They said, well, it's not allowed based on federal guidelines. And I said, well, I've done it up north, so I know they can do it here. This should be a necessity here in Houston. Long story short, we pulled the regs, we got it done. And so this is a short video kind of, you know, on a heat release initiative that we had here in Houston just recently.
In the midst of one of the hottest summers ever recorded in Houston, air conditioning isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The HHA took action in a historical step forward for the health and well-being of our clients. We secured $2.2 million in funding for our heat relief initiative, providing 1,615 AC installations in all units at our CUNY Homes, Kelly Village, and Irvington Village communities. And now, every single person living in HHA properties has access to air conditioning.
Oh yes, most definitely is a difference between being in the oven and having your AC door open where you can feel the cool and be comfortable in the place that you call home.
Although there are no current HUD mandates for air conditioning provisions in public housing, the HHA made it a top priority, contracting with 19 women and minority-owned businesses and 22 resident employees hired to complete the project.
So thankful and humbled, and I thank the program for hiring the residents because as a member of the community, I feel like we should be a part of the development of the community.
Our agency's response to this critical call to action marks a transformative and significant stride to create safer and healthier living environments for our city's most vulnerable people.
So that's just another example of how leadership matters. If I wouldn't have took it upon myself to force my team members to do whatever it took in order to receive that funding and make it happen, our clients still would be suffering related to that, you know, next summer as it comes up. When I asked some of my team members why, they showed me an article from San Antonio from 6 years ago where the HUD told San Antonio Housing Authority, actually it was the San Antonio Community Development Block Grant funding, that they couldn't install ACs at public housing properties. And, you know, it's just because somebody said, you gotta have clarification. Pull the regs, make sure it's, you know, what they're saying is right. Some of those people in HUD and other places may not even know the regs, you know, and I try to be nice to them. I said, look, I've been in this industry a long time and we've done it up north. So you can't tell me it's not possible, right? But not only do we do that, we made sure that we set it up so small and minority business can participate. You know, we have certain bond and performance laws around the country related to construction. And so we set it up so that individuals was 25,000 under where they didn't need a performance bond. But if you had the ability to install, your company had the ability and the finances to install more ACs, you can do it. And we bought all the materials, we bought the ACs, so it was just labor. But that was an opportunity to get individuals into the housing authority and understand our paperwork, our processes, and some of those 19 contractors that we utilize, they're continually working with us and, you know, applying for other bids and opportunities to work at the Housing Authority of Houston. Being in Champaign County along that way, as I mentioned before, a lot of developments that we had, one of the barriers that some of the minority and small businesses have, again, is financing. You get on a $30 million development project, you have to draw money down from IDA Illinois Housing Development Authority, through the tax credit partnership with your partners. Sometimes it takes 60 days. If you make some errors, it can be 90 days. And so some of our small minority and women-owned businesses don't have that money to front that cash for mobilization, for materials, for labor. And so in Champaign County, we worked with one of our local banks that funded a lot of our developments, took a line of credit out, and we called it the Bridging the Gap program, where if you had a contract with the housing authority to work on one of our development projects, you had to take some courses and finance it, but you can get up to a 10% loan to help mobilize the company, help pay bills until those payments start coming in. A lot of those developers try to kick smaller minority contractors off because they say, hey, we got a lien on the materials and on the property. They can't pay their bills. You know, they still have some Peter to pay Paul. And so, you know, not only did that program help, but, you know, what I would ask those development partners, that who's 51% owner? The housing board in most cases are 51% owner in that partnership. Well, the money's coming out the budget anyway, so you pay for the materials for them. Right? You're not kicking nobody off the project over things that we may cause by us not filling paperwork out or submitting it wrong. So again, you got to really, you know, one of the things I've always been about is the organization standing up and protecting the people that we serve and our partners, and me and our small businesses and contractors. Most housing authorities like Houston, we have over 5,000 landlords, and most of those landlords are small business owners. So we do a lot when we're talking about, providing economic opportunities and impact to our communities. Move to Work program, I mentioned that a little earlier. We have some great initiatives to that. You know, we have some landlord initiatives. We have a homeownership program where clients go through our homeownership. We give them an extra $20,000 if they buy a home to help buy down the cost of the home, which is great. We don't have tiered rent, where we allow people to keep the same amount of rent for over 2 years, regardless if their income increase. Most cases, income increase or rent increase. And so those type of initiatives help people, you know, save or help them pay for some of the expenses or bills that they may have, which is important. Our Jobs Plus program is another training type program we have to, you know, work with our clients and we hire them to perform different tasks through the housing authority and promote them starting their own businesses. There's another grant from HUD. This is our second. It's a grant to go to a certain property. Most of those properties are the larger properties, like our CUNY Homes property and Irvington property. So this is our second major Jobs Plus grant, and you know, partner with our Family Self-Sufficiency program to really help people moving on that spectrum of self-sufficiency, bringing them the wraparound services and support they may need. I mentioned a little bit about the homeownership program. You know, we've had over 111 homeownership clients over the last few years or so. You know, the vouchers help pay down that mortgage for the families. Now the elderly can have up to 15 years of benefit from that voucher they have. Elderly or disabled can have up to 30 years. And the housing authority, again, we put more funding in to help buy down the cost of that home so it can be more affordable for those families. You know, the Housing Choice Voucher Program is one of the largest in the country. We have over 19,000 something, vouchers, families. You know, again, I mentioned the landlords and the program's about $200 million a year in terms of funding. And currently, I mentioned a little earlier that we're out of funding. So this year we don't have any money at the time to house anybody on the voucher program new. So again, we're working with HUD now to receive additional funding to help some families. Our partnerships, we talk about various partnerships, and I'm smiling because one getting ready to come up soon. But we've put like a lot of money in terms of partnerships through project-based vouchers throughout the communities overall. And one of the things I've learned early on is that the project-based vouchers, they're not just affordable units and hard units, but they're investments. So it's millions of dollars, you know, each month for 12 months, for 15 years, the amount of that voucher, you add those 20 vouchers up, you add those 50 vouchers up, equates to a lot of money. And that's what I tell our partners. We're not just investing vouchers, we're investing money. So we have to be a partner and have a say, get some development fees so we can fill gaps in some of our other developments that we have. So this next development partnership coming up is with the Noah's Rolling House. It's a partnership through the not-for-profit. You may see my cameo behind Beyonce in the video, which I won't say went viral, but everybody I knew was calling me saying, did you get to meet Beyonce, and did you, get a picture with her? And I didn't want to act like a super fan, but it was just nice to have an opportunity to talk with her mom, and, go to the concert. But those type of partnerships really make it work. Not just because she's famous, but because her name and that recognition brings more attention to the need of affordable housing and how those partnerships can really affect families. And that was a nearly $7 million investment that the Housing Authority put in, to support those 31 permanent housing. So that's the gist of what I want to talk about. A few other things. Being in Lake County during a pandemic, HUD loosened up some rules for us. And so we got rid of all our background checks other than the two that's mandated by HUD, lifetime sex offender and persons producing methamphetamines in affordable housing. And that's about restorative justice, about doing what's right. So we took the opportunity to use our flexibilities to make that change and work with our partners to do it also. We had a student voucher. So if you're on our program and you went to college, we can pay some of your fees, room and board. We can pay board, we couldn't pay for food and things like that. Maybe it's room, we pay for room and not board. Illinois had a program, that's what made us start. University of Illinois had a program that if an individual family made less than $72,000 a year and they were accepted into the university, they received education. And so what better to work with lower income clients to provide the resource. Some people say, why they can't just commute, they live in Champaign. No, people need that opportunity to be in a dorm, that's diversity, they learn from others and that experience. And then at the end of the day, we don't know if they can get home. You got gangs, you got people that's being abused. We want to put them in the best environment to be safe. We're part of the program really to eliminate social income protection. We worked for years and it didn't come to fruition until 2022, but we've been working in Illinois in order to have individuals source of income. So if you get child support, if you get a voucher, people have a right to discriminate against you. Now in Illinois, it's a law passed, they can't discriminate about your social income. So that was one of the wins that we had in being creative and partners and legislating to some of our partners. So I'm gonna give a few minutes. I don't know how much time we have, but I'll give a few minutes for any questions anybody have. But thanks for kind of hearing what we've been able to do here in Houston and throughout the country. And a lot of it is, building on what others do. There's no reason to recreate the wheel. Just build on some of those experiences and some of those successes and some of those, losses also to make it better the next time you go about doing it.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. Just open up the floor for any questions. Go ahead, Aaron. Oh.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I guess what has been I guess it's kind of a two-part. What has been, you think, one of the most impactful programs y'all started for your residents? It seems like y'all really done a lot of innovative things, and what's something that you think is one of the most impactful things? And the other question I have is like, what do you think is the most fun you have doing your job? I think since we all work in affordable housing, we know about the problems that exist, but just again, you got to meet Beyonce. So what's the most fun you get to have in your role?
I probably can only name 2 Beyonce songs, but going to the concert, getting the opportunity to bring my daughter with me and meeting her, building affordable housing was cool. But probably one of the most impactful programs is partnering and utilizing the Move to Work program with Youth Build. It's really seeing those young people. I didn't mention, but in Champaign County, we didn't allow them to have GEDs, and here in Houston and in Birmingham, we don't. They have to get high school diplomas. We use Penn Foster. That's a national credit high school that's online. We hired a teacher. Everybody in our program, the first cohort came in, there was 17 people that didn't have high school diplomas. Everybody graduated with a high school diploma. Right, and so it really helped. And one of the kids that was looked at as one of the worst kids in the high school that they kicked out, he graduated with 3.6. And so if the kids is in the right environment, I think that was one of my most impactful programs. And as far as fun, it used to be fun when I was in Champaign and Lake County, but when you're in this type of market, the politics take over. And so I really like getting out with the community. We have Cactus Jack, Travis Scott's foundation. They here. Our team will be there a little later, partnering with them, bringing some of our young people. So when I can get out and be with our young people and our clients, I appreciate that better than being at City Hall or sitting here in this office.
Thank you. Go ahead, Esther.
So inspired today. Thank you so much for joining us. I was really interested in Aaron's question and following it up with another one. Happy to hear about the most impactful programs, but I'm also interested in hearing what were your biggest obstacles on some of your programs, and what did you do to overcome those hurdles?
You know, some of our biggest obstacles was the lack of education. People don't understand the mission, or in some cases, they don't appreciate the housing authorities they need them. And so that was some of the biggest. One challenge I had here in Houston was we had an old mod rehab property. The program went away in probably 1990 something. We still had a bunch of them here. This one property had our clients living in squalor. We gave them over $26 million, and they hadn't invested in it, so we had to fight them. And it got political. And so HUD said, well, you cancel the contract, you can't allow nobody else to live there on a voucher. And the rules don't say that. The rules say you may require them not to live there. And so to help the political environment of it, I said, hey, if you can fix your unit and it can pass inspection and somebody want it, they can live there. But you're not getting no project-based voucher guaranteed income there. So you have to compete like everybody else. And all the clients that received tenant-based vouchers moved away because the landlords would not. But I took a lot of hits for it, right? People saying that we're trying to destroy them and steal their property, that we're criminals and corrupt. But just standing strong and utilizing policies and doing the right thing.
So I imagine the relationship building is really important.
Yes, so important.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, again, I want to, Justin.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I'm curious, one of the things I think we've struggled with in Chicago is keeping costs down in new construction for affordable housing. Do you have, for like new build, I know the project that was kind of highlighted in the video, I mean, have you found like a sweet spot, or how, I know there's no zoning, so it's probably easier in a lot of ways, but I'm just curious about like, typologies or scale, or what seems to work best in cost effective housing.
Right now, insurance costs is skyrocketing. The cost of materials is skyrocketing. Here in Houston, we have to have wind insurance and flood insurance at a larger rate, and so it really adds to the cost. I really haven't. I hope I find that silver bullet. I'll market it after retiring from housing to decrease the cost. But one of the best things that we were able to do is stockpile some of the materials that was needed. So when the cost increased, we already had some of the materials stored away, and we didn't have to, deal with the cost increases. But some of our other programs I mentioned, like the Affordable Housing Houston units, where we get a lot of income from partnerships where we don't use any federal money, that's what we use to fill the gaps. So if anything, having, I wouldn't say free money, but partnership money that allowed us to utilize it non-federally any way we needed to, help fill a lot of those gaps in those developments.
Thank you.
We have about 5 more minutes. If there's any more questions? Okay, so there's no more questions. I'll give you your time back, but thank you, Mr. Norton, for joining us, and thank you for the job that you're doing for all Houstonians, and the job that you did here at Illinois as well. So we definitely look forward to working with you in the future. Maybe we can come to, you can host us in Houston to see some of your sites as well.
If you want to come down, I've hosted a number of groups. If you want to come down, we can make that happen. We have some interesting properties. We're doing some really unique things, and we're doing what's right. for some of the most vulnerable clients throughout our city. And it's a learning ground, right? As I mentioned before, don't recreate the wheel. Utilize some of the resources that individuals already created and just make it your own.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining. Stay tuned for details on our next Learning Lab. Thank you all.
Thank you too. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.